You know that feeling when you finally land the job? The good one, the stable one, the one with the benefits package and the 401k match and the promise of health insurance that doesn't make you want to cry? You walk into orientation and they hand you the employee handbook, and somewhere in the back of your mind, you feel this wave of relief wash over you, like you finally made it. You've got a real job at a real company, and as long as you show up and do decent work, you're set. You're secure. Except here's the thing nobody tells you. That security, it's a complete fiction. It's a story we tell ourselves because the alternative is too uncomfortable to think about. And in 2025, that myth is being exposed in the most brutal way possible. My name is Carla, and I spend way too much time thinking about the invisible contracts that govern our working lives and why so many people are blindsided when those contracts get shredded without warning. If you've ever felt that pit in your stomach when your company announces restructuring, or if you're someone who genuinely believes your job is safe because you work hard and follow the rules, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Because today we're talking about the biggest lie in corporate America, the one that keeps millions of people trapped in a false sense of security while their actual financial future crumbles beneath them. Let's start with some numbers that should terrify you. Over 1.2 million job cuts were announced in 2025. That's not a typo. 1.2 million. That's the highest number since 2020. And if you take out the pandemic year, you have to go all the way back to 2009, the depths of the Great Recession, to find anything comparable. But here's what makes this different. In 2009, everyone knew we were in crisis mode. Banks were collapsing. The housing market had imploded. Nobody was pretending everything was fine. In 2025, companies are posting record profits. Stock prices are soaring. CEOs are getting massive bonuses. And they're still cutting jobs by the tens of thousands. Amazon eliminated 14,000 corporate positions. Verizon slashed over 13,000 jobs in their largest layoff campaign ever. Intel cut 24,000 workers. Tech companies alone eliminated 150,000 positions. And the thing that makes this especially brutal is that these weren't struggling companies desperately trying to stay afloat. These were profitable enterprises making strategic decisions to prioritize shareholder value over employee stability. But let me tell you what really exposes the myth. It's not just that layoffs are happening, it's how they're happening. There's this new phenomenon that workplace experts are calling forever layoffs. Instead of one massive restructuring that makes headlines, companies are now doing rolling layoffs. 100 people here, 50 people there, constantly churning through their workforce in small enough batches that it doesn't trigger major media coverage, but large enough that it creates this constant atmosphere of fear and uncertainty. Think about what that does to your psychology. You can't relax, you can't feel secure. Every quarterly earnings call, every leadership change, every slight dip in stock price becomes a potential threat to your livelihood. You're not working at a stable company, you're playing financial roulette, and the chamber keeps spinning. Now, you might be thinking that this is just about picking the right industry or the right company. Like if you could just find that one employer who still values loyalty and stability, you'd be fine. But here's where the myth gets even more insidious. The research shows that job tenure hasn't actually changed that much across generations. Workers aged 25 to 34 today have a median tenure of 2.7 years. Baby boomers at the same age in 1983 had almost identical tenure. The narrative that young people are job hoppers while previous generations were loyal is largely false. What changed isn't worker loyalty. What changed is that companies stopped being loyal first. And this is crucial to understand. The social contract that used to exist, the one where hard work and dedication meant job security and a pension and health care and retirement, that contract was unilaterally terminated by employers. They kept the language, they still talk about company culture and being a family and investing in their people, but the actual commitment, it evaporated. Here's what that looks like in practice. You get hired, you're told there are opportunities for growth, promises of promotion, talk about long term career development. Maybe you even relocate for the job, uproot your family, sell your house. You commit. And then 18 months later, there's a restructuring. Your entire department gets outsourced or automated or simply eliminated because some consultant convinced the C suite they could achieve the same output with fewer people. And you know what the company tells you? It's not personal, it's business. But it was personal when they asked for your loyalty. It was personal when they wanted you to work late and skip vacations and prioritize the company's needs over your own. The asymmetry is stunning. They want your commitment without offering any in return. And the data backs this up. A recent survey found that 44% of employees would stay in jobs they actively dislike just for the perceived security. They're miserable, but they're convinced that keeping this job is better than the risk of looking for something else. Meanwhile, 76% expect layoffs to increase and 81% worry about job security. This isn't paranoia, this is pattern recognition. People have watched what happened to their colleagues, their friends, their family members. They've seen loyal employees with decades of service get shown the door with a severance package that barely covers 2 months of expenses. The myth tells you that if you're valuable enough, if you're productive enough, if you make yourself indispensable, you'll be safe. But that's not how this works anymore. Companies don't evaluate employees based on their value to the organization. They evaluate them based on their cost relative to alternatives. Can they replace you with someone cheaper? Can they automate your function? Can they outsource your role to a country with lower labor costs? If the answer to any of those questions is yes, your value is irrelevant. This is why you see situations where companies lay off experienced engineers making six figures, and then 6 months later, they're hiring new grads at half the salary to do a similar role. It's not about capability, it's about the spreadsheet. And the spreadsheet doesn't care how many late nights you worked or how many projects you successfully delivered. So, what does actual security look like in this environment? Because I'm not just here to depress you with the reality of modern employment. The answer is uncomfortable but necessary. Real security doesn't come from your employer, it comes from you. It comes from building skills that are transferable across companies and industries. It comes from maintaining a network of contacts so that you're not starting from zero if you need to find a new role. It comes from living below your means so that you have savings to survive a job loss. It comes from treating your career like a business where you're the CEO, constantly evaluating your position, your market value, your alternatives. The people who thrive in this environment aren't the ones who pledge loyalty to a company that won't return it. They're the ones who understand that every job is temporary, every employer is replaceable, and the only person responsible for your long-term financial security is you. This doesn't mean you can't enjoy your work or take pride in what you do. It just means you do it with your eyes open, with a realistic understanding of the relationship. Because here's the final piece that makes the safe job myth so dangerous. When you believe in it, you make decisions based on false assumptions. You stay too long in roles that aren't serving you because you're waiting for that promotion that's never coming. You don't build your emergency fund because you think your current paycheck is guaranteed. You don't invest in developing new skills because you think your current expertise is enough. And then, when the inevitable happens, when the restructuring comes, or the merger happens, or the new CEO decides to clean house, you're caught completely unprepared. The companies know this. They benefit from you believing in job security because it keeps you compliant, keeps you accepting lower raises, keeps you willing to sacrifice without demanding much in return. The myth serves their interests, not yours. Breaking free from it means accepting a harder truth. Your job is not safe. It never was. The security you felt was always an illusion. But once you accept that, once you really internalize it, you can start making decisions from a position of clarity instead of delusion. Build your skills, build your network, build your savings, treat your employer like a business partner, not a benevolent parent. And when the layoffs come, because they will come, you'll be ready. Not because you predicted it, but because you never believed you were safe in the first place. That's the real security, not the promise someone else makes to you, but the foundation you build for yourself. If this video shifted how you think about job security, hit that like button and subscribe for more reality checks about money and work. The truth might be uncomfortable, but it's a hell of a lot better than the lies we've been sold.